right. Hey, what's up, guys? Thanks for joining us. We're here at the Combat Night Pro Tallahassee weigh-ins, and I am joined by Coach Stark, as
Thank you for having
usual.
me.
Sorry, I got a little. There we go. Got a little. Thanks for bearing with us for some of the technical difficulties. But so we're here at the weigh-ins. Excited. Tons of people here. Guys are on weight, ready to show out. And me and Coach Stark wanted to jump on and go over some of the fights that are coming up with you.
Wow.
You're just behind me. It's hard to see you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Five? How many people are on there? 11.
We got 11 folks with us.
Good start. Good start.
All right. So some of the well, first of all, let me just say this is the only place to hear the inside information about Combat Night leading up to events from yours truly and of course MMA Coach Ben. Check out our socials. Make sure you're following us there. And so some of the fights we wanted to talk about from tomorrow night, starting with the main event, heavyweights, Bear Hill versus Clay Jackson. Bear Hill making his Combat Night debut. He's 2-0 as a pro. And sometimes I think it's relevant, Coach Ben, to go ahead and mention guys' amateur records when they're relatively early in their pro journey. So he brings a 4-5 amateur record also to the cage. So not 11 total fights. And that's just kind of get a representation of how many times these guys have had weight cut, etc.
Yeah, of course. Time under tension, time in the cage. It says a lot, even if it's as an amateur, but the more cage time you have, the more seasoned you are going to be.
Exactly. And he will be facing Clay Apple Pie Jackson. He's 5-1, exciting fighter, a crowd favorite. And he's coming off a loss, so he's going to be looking for some redemption here against the last Barbarian.
True, the first loss of his career, I do believe, but he's a big boy with some crazy output. I've seen some of his previous fights from Combat Night, and he is non-stop. Just because he's a big boy does not mean he doesn't have a gas tank. He's big, he's violent, and he is ready to go.
Absolutely. Our co-main event of the pro portion of the card is going to be George Shepard versus Angel Trevino. George Shepard is 15-14. He's fought for Combat Night one time, and Angel Trevino is 9-4 and making his Combat Night debut. Both of these guys have quite a bit of experience. George Shepard, 15-14. That's a lot of fights that he's had, and he's also taken a number of boxing fights. So we can expect maybe some stand up from him.
Shepard's last time in the octagon, he fought another veteran in Donnie Bush. It was a rock'em sock'em, nonstop fight. They both had each other in close to finishing trouble. It just so happened that Donnie Bush got the last one and the most secure. But Shepard was a dog in there. He fought his butt off. He put on a hell of a show, and you can expect nothing less coming from such a seasoned veteran like himself this weekend here in Tallahassee.
And his opponent, Angel Trevino, like we said, 9-4, making his Combat Night debut. So we want to welcome him to the Combat Night stage as well.
Trevino's a badass in himself.
Yeah.
9-4 is a hell of a record. That's the kind of record you see looking into these world stage shows. And that kind of states where we are as Combat Night. We are top tier in the Southeast, and the talent knows that. And they're looking to show their stuff, and they want to get to that next level. And they are doing so through the Combat Night Network. Knowing that we have the reach both to the fans and to the people who matter, and we're really trying to make a statement here tonight.
Another fight I wanted to highlight from the pro card is Monty Morrison versus Kevin Church. Monty Morrison, a Combat Night OG from his amateur career. He fought with us 4 times in amateur. He's fought with us 1 time as a pro. He's bringing a 3-3 pro record to the cage this evening or tomorrow evening. And he's on a 3-fight skid, so he's looking for some redemption for sure.
He's one of those guys where his right hand can end the fight at any moment. And sometimes he relies too heavily on that. But at the same time, all he's got to do is touch you with it. So will we see that right hand make contact, or will he get caught up trying to get off on one of these bigger shots and kind of falling to the wayside in the other areas, just headhunting them.
And then his opponent, Kevin Church, he is an absolute combat night OG. All 8 of his amateur fights were taken right here with us. But since he turned pro, he took his show on the road, and he's been overseas taking fights in Malaysia and Thailand. And he brings a 2-2 record to the Combatagon this Saturday.
So we know Kevin Church trains with Phuket Fight Club, and then weighs at home at 10th Planet Tallahassee or Jacksonville. Jacksonville, pardon me. But one, spending so much time in Thailand, his striking is without a doubt going to be sharp. You've seen what it's done to the likes of Khalil Roundtree, our very own Donnie Bush, and another plethora of guys that stay down here in Florida and fight on the circuit with us. If you spend a significant amount in Thailand, your striking is going to be sharp. It's going to be crazy. The Phuket fight team guys, they have a fabulous team down there. As you know, 10th Planet Jacksonville, hell of a team as well. So him coming in Tallahassee, fighting back at home for the first time as a professional, you know he's trying to make waves.
I certainly had to reposition a little bit. I like this. This is a slightly less formal atmosphere than what we're accustomed to delivering.
You are not wrong, and this is so much easier because now I can actually see when I talk as opposed to like not wanting to turn my head.
So the amateur card, man, we've got some exciting fights on that, including our amateur undercard main event, which is a light heavyweight title bout between Kevin Hine and Javier Martinez, a couple of undefeated guys that are looking to bring the heat. Kevin Hine, 4-0. He has fought for Combat Night 2 times. This will be his 3rd time fighting for us, facing off against Javier Martinez, Kung Fu Panda. He's 6-0. All 6 of his fights have been with Combat Night. He has finished by knockout. He's gone on the road. He is also the Rise of the Warrior heavyweight title holder. And everywhere that Javier Martinez goes, he puts on a show, and we expect no different this Saturday.
Man, you are not wrong here. Javier throws heaters. He's 6-0 for a reason. His both hands are loaded. He can throw a full head kick. I believe it was his last fight. He kicked the guy who was 6'6" right in the skull, and he's what, 5'8"?
Yes.
I saw his opponent Hine interviewing a little earlier today. That man is intense. He didn't even like the questions that he was being asked by our staff in the back. He's like, "Are you playing with me? I'm not here to play games. I'm here to fight." And they're like, "Okay, sorry." He was having none of it. So you gotta assume that coming into the cage this weekend, it's gonna be a bloodbath one way or the other.
Yeah, he's an intense guy for sure. The co-main event is a featherweight title bout between Tyler Martin and Romello Union. Tyler Martin, 4-2, 2 fights for Combat Night, 1 for Rise of a Warrior. If you haven't fought for Combat Night or Rise of a Warrior and you fought for somebody else, we're not going to talk about you on here. Romello Union is 6-1 as an amateur, 4 fights for Combat Night. And despite being fresh and showing a lot of his good work on the feet, he does have 2 wins by submission.
Man, I always go for the submission artist here. Maybe it's just the jiu-jitsu in me, but there's not enough submissions. There's not enough crispy jiu-jitsu in mixed martial arts nowadays. So whenever I hear about a guy who's coming in on a streak, especially a streak of submissions, or who's known for putting guys out via submission, I'm always super excited to see what the current level of grappling is in the MMA scene.
Certainly. And another kind of marquee matchup I wanted to, this is going to be no pun intended, highlight is Leo Figueroa versus Markeith Simpson. Leo Figueroa is 2-2. All 4 of his fights have been for Combat Night. And Markeith Simpson is 2-1 with all 3 of his fights coming for Combat Night. Both of these guys, dynamic strikers, definitely going to be looking to take each other's head off. And I can't wait to see that fight.
Man, when these 2 clash, it will be nothing but fireworks. Both guys hunt finishes, throw heavy, caution to the wind, and of course a technical and safe sporting manner. But I'm looking forward to complete fireworks here. There's no better way to start kicking off the end of our amateur card than with a fireworks display like this.
Absolutely. So for so here at the weigh-ins, if you want to see the actual face-offs, we're going to want you to head over to our Facebook or to our Instagram. Both of them are at Combat Night MMA. What else you got to say about what we got going on this weekend?
Man, it's never a dull moment with Combat Night, especially on the road. The action does not stop. We've got the weigh-ins going live on Instagram, Combat Night MMA. If you don't already follow, you will see the spectacular moon, not the one in the sky, but the nightclub. This Tallahassee, what's the like a historical monument of the
Sure.
Combat Night world. Is the moon not where it started?
It is. It's
Your
the
first
venue that it all started.
We're coming right back to Combat Night's home, and we're going to be putting on the show like no other. If you missed our last time in Tallahassee, you missed a hell of a night of fights. Don't do that this time. Get on Eventbrite. Get your pay-per-view. Tune in. This is going to be stacked. We're looking at 17 amateurs and 9 or 10 pros, and it is all awesome matchups from top to bottom. Take advantage of the awesome opportunity you have to get into MMA at the grassroots, at the top tier of the regional level, right before these guys cross into the big show. So you can be the guy who tells your friends, I saw that guy fight before he hit the UFC or the PFL.
So, what I want you to do, if you haven't, go follow Combat Night MMA on Instagram. And if you go and follow me right now on my story is the link to tickets and pay-per-view. And you go click that, follow that, and get in the game with us for Ramsey White and MMA Coach Ben. We are also the commentators on the pay-per-view, and we look forward to bringing you guys all the action there. Take care.
There you go.